My sister dropped off her 3 kids at my house, saying, "I'll be back in an hour." She never returned. 12 years later, she came back with a lawyer, claiming I had stolen her children. I quietly handed the judge one sealed envelope. He read it, looked up at her, and asked, "Have your children ever been told the truth?" Hello everyone, my name is Emma Carter. I'm 41 years old, and I became a mother on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, without giving birth to a single child. My younger sister pulled into my driveway. 3 children climbed out of her SUV. She smiled casually. "I just need an hour." I laughed. "No problem." She kissed each child on the forehead. "Be good for Aunt Emma." The youngest wrapped his little arms around her leg. "When are you coming back, Mommy?" She smiled. "Soon, sweetheart." Then she drove away. That hour became a day. The day became a week. The week became 12 years. 12 years later, she walked into a courtroom beside an expensive attorney, pointed directly at me, and claimed I'd stolen her children. I quietly handed the judge one sealed envelope. He opened it, read the first page, then slowly looked over his glasses. "Have your children ever been told the truth?" Looking back, none of us realized that Tuesday would become the dividing line between 2 completely different lives. My sister, Laura, was 6 years younger than me. Growing up, she could light up any room. Funny, outgoing, fearless, but responsibility never seemed to stay with her for very long. Jobs came and went. Relationships ended dramatically. Plans changed every month. Mom always defended her. "She's still finding herself." Dad usually sighed. "I hope she finds herself soon." Then Laura became a mother. First came Mason. 2 years later, twins, Lily and Noah. 3 beautiful children. 3 children she genuinely loved. But loving someone and being able to care for them aren't always the same thing. The children's father disappeared before Noah and Lily celebrated their first birthday. After that, Laura struggled. She worked whenever she could, moved between apartments, fell behind on bills. I helped often, babysitting, groceries, school supplies, never because anyone forced me, because those children deserved stability. By the time Mason turned 6, he spent almost every weekend at my house. He called it my second home. I secretly hoped it would always stay that way. Then came that Tuesday. Laura arrived unexpectedly. She looked exhausted, dark circles under her eyes, hair hurriedly tied back. "I have an interview. Can you watch them?" "Of course." "Just an hour." She hugged me tightly, longer than usual. "Thank you." I smiled. "You know you never have to thank me." She looked at the children one last time, then drove away. 5 hours passed. No phone call, no text. I finally called her, straight to voicemail. That night, nothing. The next morning, still nothing. By the third day, I contacted hospitals, friends, anyone who might know where she'd gone. Nobody had seen her. On the 4th day, I filed a missing person report. Weeks passed. The police investigated. Friends were interviewed. Financial records reviewed. No one could find her. Months passed. Eventually, the emergency guardianship I had received through family court became a longer-term legal arrangement, not because anyone wanted it, because the children needed someone to enroll them in school, approve medical treatment, sign permission slips. Life couldn't stay frozen forever. The hardest conversations happened at bedtime. Every night, Mason asked the same question. "When's Mom coming back?" I never lied. "I don't know." Lily carried one of Laura's old scarves everywhere. She insisted it still smelled like her. Noah slept with a framed picture beside his bed. Every birthday, they left one empty chair, just in case. Years passed. Slowly, hope changed. The children still loved their mother, but they stopped expecting the front door to open. Instead, they learned to ride bicycles, started middle school, won spelling bees, played soccer, celebrated birthdays. Through every scraped knee, every science project, every parent-teacher conference, I was there, not because I replaced their mother, because someone had to show up. Eventually, the court finalized a permanent guardianship after years of unsuccessful efforts to locate Laura, and after all required legal procedures were followed. Every decision was made with the children's best interests in mind. I kept every document, every police report, every court order, every letter, not because I expected a fight, because I wanted the children to know one day that nobody had given up looking for their mother. Then, 12 years later, the doorbell rang. I opened it. Laura stood there, older, healthier, wearing an expensive business suit. Beside her, a man carrying a leather briefcase. She smiled. "Hi, Emma." For several seconds, I couldn't breathe. Mason walked into the hallway behind me. He was 18 now, tall, confident. He froze. The twins stepped out of the kitchen. Nobody recognized her. Laura looked at them with tears in her eyes. My babies? Mason quietly asked. Who is she? Laura looked shattered. I'm your mother. The silence that followed seemed endless. Noah looked at me. Mom, see you, what's happening? Laura flinched, hearing him call me Mom. Her attorney stepped forward. My client intends to seek immediate legal relief. I looked at him calmly. For what? For the wrongful withholding of her children. I couldn't believe what I just heard. I quietly answered. I didn't withhold anyone. I raised the children you left behind. 2 weeks later, we stood inside a courtroom. The judge reviewed the case file. Laura's attorney argued that she'd returned to reclaim her children. My attorney calmly requested permission to submit additional evidence. The judge nodded. I reached into my briefcase, removed one sealed envelope, and handed it to the bailiff. The judge opened it. Read the first page, then the second. His expression changed completely. He slowly looked up at Laura, then asked one quiet question. Have your children ever been told the truth? Laura's face instantly lost all color. Sometimes, the truth isn't hidden because it's complicated. It's hidden because once it's spoken aloud, the story everyone believed can never be put back together again. As the judge held the documents from that sealed envelope, and my sister realized what they contained, I knew 12 years of silence were about to end. The courtroom became completely silent. The judge slowly lowered the papers, then looked directly at Laura. Have your children ever been told the truth? Laura couldn't answer. Her attorney quietly leaned toward her. She simply stared at the floor. Finally, she whispered, no. The judge nodded. I thought so. My attorney stood. Your Honor, may I explain what was submitted? You may. He opened another copy of the documents. The envelope contains certified copies of the original missing person investigation, the emergency guardianship order, every notice published attempting to locate Ms. Laura Carter, every certified letter mailed to her last known addresses, every court order entered over the following 12 years. He paused. It also contains evidence that Ms. Carter contacted neither the court nor the children during that entire period. Laura's attorney immediately stood. My client had personal circumstances. The judge raised a hand. I'm sure we'll hear them. He looked back at Laura. But before we discuss today, I need to understand yesterday. He leaned forward. Ms. Carter, did you voluntarily leave your children with their aunt? A long silence followed. Finally, yes. Did Ms. Carter prevent you from returning that day? No. Did she ever hide the children's location from you? No. The courtroom remained completely still. The judge continued. Did she obtain legal guardianship through the courts? Laura quietly answered, yes. And were you notified through the legal procedures required at the time? Another long pause. Yes. My heart ached, not because I wanted her embarrassed, because hearing those answers out loud meant there was no longer anywhere to hide from the truth. The judge turned toward me. Ms. Carter, why didn't you tell the children more? I swallowed hard. Because I promised myself I'd never make them choose between loving the mother they remembered when the aunt who raised them. I wanted the truth to come from the right place. The judge nodded thoughtfully. That was a difficult decision. It was. He looked toward the 3 young adults sitting quietly behind me. Mason, now 18, Lily and Noah, both 16. Then he addressed Laura. They deserve honesty, not accusations. Court recessed for lunch. Outside, nobody spoke. Mason quietly walked over to me. His hands were shaking. Mom, he stopped, then corrected himself. Aunt Emma. I gently took his hand. You can call me whatever feels right. Tears filled his eyes. I don't even know what I feel. I know. Laura slowly approached. For the first time in 12 years, she stood face to face with the son she'd left as a little boy. Mason, I'm sorry. He looked at her for a very long time, then quietly asked, why didn't you come back? She broke down crying. I thought I wasn't good enough. I had nothing. I kept telling myself I'd come back once I'd fixed my life. But every year, it became harder. And then I was ashamed, so I waited even longer. Mason wiped away his own tears. You missed everything. My first baseball game, my graduation, my first job. You weren't there. I know, and I'm sorry. Lily quietly stepped forward. She held the faded scarf she'd kept since she was 4 years old. I carried this everywhere. Laura covered her mouth. I hoped it still smelled like you. Laura cried even harder. Noah finally spoke. I don't hate you, but I don't know you. Those words were heartbreaking, because they were true. When court resumed, the judge addressed everyone calmly. This case isn't about ownership. It's about people. He looked directly at Laura. Children, even older ones, are not property to reclaim after 12 years. He then turned toward Mason, Lily, and Noah. Given your ages, your wishes matter greatly. He asked each of them privately, one at a time, whether they wanted contact with Laura. When everyone returned, the judge summarized their decisions without revealing private details. They are willing to slowly get to know their biological mother, but they do not wish to disrupt the life they have built with Ms. Emma Carter. He smiled gently. That request is entirely reasonable. Laura closed her eyes, then quietly nodded. I understand. For the first time, she wasn't demanding anything. She was listening. Epilogue. 3 years have passed. Laura never tried to take the children away again. Instead, she earned small moments. Coffee with Mason, lunch with Lily, a walk in the park with Noah. Never forced, always invited. Sometimes they canceled, sometimes they stayed for hours. She accepted every answer, because she finally understood that trust isn't returned all at once. It's rebuilt one honest conversation at a time. As for me, nothing really changed. The children still call me Mom. Sometimes, they call me Aunt Emma too. Both make me smile, because neither title defines what we lived through together. Love does. Every Mother's Day, the 3 of them still arrive at my house carrying flowers. This year, Laura came too. She stood quietly at the door, holding a small bouquet. I know today belongs to you. She smiled through tears. But, so thank you for loving them when I couldn't. I hugged her, not because the past disappeared, because forgiveness had finally found room beside the truth. My thoughts. Looking back, the judge didn't decide who loved those children. Life had already answered that question. Love isn't proven by biology alone. It's proven by the birthdays you attend, the fevers you stay awake through, the homework you help with, the promises you keep. Sometimes, the greatest act of love isn't replacing someone. It's stepping forward when they can't, and hoping that one day, if they return, healing is still possible.